Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I've been playing this game Grim Dawn for quite a while, and I kind of I wanted to go through the character that I'm currently working on and just talk about it. I don't see many videos on this game right now, and it's been probably one of the best ARPGs that I've played ever. So I kind of just wanted to put myself out there and then put some more content for this game out into the world. 'Cause I think it's really cool, and I think more people should, see it and play it. So I've heard that videos like this are sometimes kind of referred to as like, I guess, build diaries in a way. Basically, what I want to do here is just go over the character in its current state, some of the challenges that I've gone through, and plans for the character going forward. So right now I'm in elite difficulty doing the quests, in the homestead area. So I've already beat the game once on normal with this character, and it was pretty interesting. So this character is a Purifier, which is a mix of a Demolitionist and an Inquisitor. My I should preface this by saying I have two other characters that are at level 100 right now that are in ultimate difficulty, not super far in. Those two characters I was using, build guides from the forum to, build my characters around and find gear and spec devotions and everything. But for this third character, I really wanted to kind of go off and do something on my own. So this character has been something of an experiment more so than anything else, I'd say. When I made this character, um, part of the inspiration for it was a video that I saw on YouTube a while ago of some builds. And I don't remember the name of the video or the creator anymore, but one of the builds in that video was basically dual wield guns with a bunch of on hit effects. So that's kind of what I wanted to do in my own way. And so that was literally it. That was the basis for this idea. So I guess what I'll get into is kind of where I started with this character and why I kind of am where I'm at now. So again, the original idea for this character was just dual wield guns. That was it. So I started with the Inquisitor and I started leveling up ranged expertise because it gave me, the immediate ability to dual wield guns. And kind of where I went was I was just using these weapon pool skills as I leveled up, and those I was like, okay, those are gonna be my main damage. So I want all the on-hit effects that I can get. And not realizing that, with low attack speed and not very good weapons, they don't do very much on their own. So I swapped to primarily using Demolitionist, and I switched to using Firestrike, which replaces my default weapon attack to do that fire shot. And I've been grabbing, some of the forgot what they're called, but like the modifiers for that, mostly for more fire damage, just to make it more powerful. And then in the Inquisitor tree, I eventually went back and I spec'd into these weapon pool skills. Just because once I had Fire Strike online, having these as like some supplemental damage was actually pretty good. So it ended up working out pretty well after I actually got a, default weapon attack replacer, and then I just used these weapon pool skills as like supplemental damage. And kind of my philosophy with leveling has been, obviously grabbing, my main abilities primarily, and then as I reach certain like level thresholds, I'll grab other things that give me some small benefits, and then, I've been leveling them up later on as I go. And after I had my main damage ability spec'd and Fire Strike here, I just kind of spammed the Inquisitor until I could get to this exclusive skill for the negative elemental resistance aura. Although the thing I don't particularly like about this is that it's very short range. Being, dual wield range character, I was kind of hoping for an ability like this that I could use from more range, but the effective range of this is only 7 meters at soft cap. So yeah, it's a very short range for what I'm looking for. So yeah, aside from my main damage abilities, I've got Flame Touch for some base fire damage, and then some percent fire and lightning. Blast Shield just for some survivability, Vindictive Flame for some more damage and some more utility, and then I put a point into Ulzun's Wrath as well. It hasn't been like super useful. Like when I was on normal, it would kind of nuke like low level trash monsters, but otherwise, it hasn't been like the most amazing thing in the world. I'm not really using any sort of retaliation build, so I don't know. I put a point into it. I might unspec it later. I'm not sure yet. And then originally I was using a Blackwater Cocktail and high potency, just to slow enemy attack speed and to reduce their offensive ability a bit, but I unspec that near the end of normal because it wasn't really doing that much anymore. And instead I've been using Thermite Mines for the negative elemental resistance. Um, and from what I understand, this stacks with Aura of Censure, and then I'll go through my whole devotion tree in a minute, but I believe it would also stack with Eldritch Fire. So all that equals, I don't know, 40, 50 something percent negative elemental or fire resistance once they're all procced at once. And so that does it for the main skills actually. So actually the Inquisitor skills, so again, I'm mostly just using these on hit effects. This Chilling Rounds is only skilled in here, I think, because of +2 Inquisitor skills. I don't think I actually have points in it anymore, because I wasn't doing very much cold damage anyway, so I just unspec'd it in favor of something else. So I'm mostly getting damage from bursting rounds and then some damage from storm spread, but if I just go to my character sheet real quick here, like most of my damage is all funneled into fire damage. So like I have a ton of base fire and percent fire damage, and lightning is probably the second most. But yeah, back to the Inquisitor skills. I have Word of Renewal just for the movement speed and defensive ability that it gave. Um, and the health restore was nice initially, but it doesn't really do that much anymore. Um, and then I have Deadly Aim. I just put 1 point into this because of the percent crit damage and offensive ability mostly. And it has like 100% proc chance. So I don't know if I'll put more points into this. I may if I have some extra, but seemed pretty good as a 1 pointer, so that's kind of what I did with that. And then for my devotion, so this has probably been one of the harder things to kind of go through on my own, because I really don't know what I'm doing with these too much. I've kind of just been experimenting with these mostly. So I'll try and go in order from where I started, but I initially started with the bat um, devotion tree because I wanted the healing from Twin Fangs. Right now I have it spec'd onto Chilling Rounds, but I'll probably have to change that eventually once if I ever unspec out of that. And the healing from this I don't really think has been that useful recently, so I don't know if I'll keep that, but I'm using it for now. I have Ghoul here as well, just for the massive amount of attack damage converted to health when I'm at low HP. It's been like super useful and keeping me alive. And then again, I have Soleil's Witchblade here, and I attached it to the Eldritch Fire to Thermite Mines just because I wanted some negative fire resistance. And then let's see, so I have Fiend here. I think I spec'd this just because I wanted to see how Flame Torrent works. And the damage from this has been pretty negligible. I'd like to unspec this at some point, because I don't think it's terribly useful for my build. But I just have to get my points in order and see if I still need it for my other devotions before I get rid of it. I have Magi here, because this gave some decently good stats for what I was looking for. And Fisher, I don't know, just kind of comparable damage to Flame Torrent. Um, it's kind of hard. Like I have a lot of on-hit effects with some of these, so it's kind of hard to determine like how much damage this is actually doing. I feel like it's been more effective than Flame Torrent though, just because it's like a ranged on-hit effect that procs and gives me a lot of smaller projectiles. So my AoE damage is pretty good without it anyway. But I don't know. It's cool, so I've just kind of been using it. So as I've been going on, I've been having a lot of energy issues. It's been draining like way faster now than before. So I spec'd into Viper for some energy leech. and because I wanted the reduced elemental resistance on that as well. And moving along here, I have a lion here for mostly just the health and some of the defensive stats, and Sailor's Guide because I wanted some of the CC reduction stats. And then I had Ulo here because that gave some resistances in health and energy, along with some CC reduction. I don't really know if cleansing waters is all that useful. The description says that it removes, I don't know, removes beneficial auras and spells from foes and then cleanses me of ailments, but it doesn't actually say that in the like actual breakdown of what it does. It just says that it slows the target for 8 seconds. So I'm not sure if it actually does what the flavor text says or if that's just kind of you know, I don't know exactly. And currently I'm putting points into Phoenix, because mostly because I thought that the Phoenix Fire was neat. I saw that it gave some base fire damage, or it does base fire damage and gave some damage absorption. Um, so I wanted to get that level to see what that was like. I don't really care as much about the Aether damage, of course, and the retaliation I don't care about. Um, so I don't know, I was just curious to see if it did decent damage and gave me some more survivability. Alright, that about does it for devotions. I'm still trying to figure those out right now too. So moving on to gear, there's not really too much to say here. Most of this stuff is just kind of like blues and purples that I've been finding throughout adventuring. Probably the most of note gear is my weapons. So I had these two Havoc ranged weapons left over from a previous character. Um, and basically, they just do a decent amount of damage and have decent attack speed. And the Havoc skill gives me a lot of additional attack speed and offensive ability. And they stack independently, I believe. Like I'll get two different instances of the buff from them. So I'm pretty sure it's stacked. So some other of note pieces of gear that I have, I got this Marauder's Talisman that I'll be upgrading later on. I have this Monster Infrequent helmet, that gives some bonuses to Firestrike. And I have this epic belt that gives some bonuses just to fire damage and cast damage and +1 to all skills and demolitionist, so that's been pretty useful. Um, this metal is like pretty stat heavy with some fire and lightning damage and resistances. And it gives me the brand ability on hit. I don't really know how much damage this has been doing. I wish I could see a better breakdown. Um, so I don't know how terribly useful this has been, to be honest. Otherwise, I think my gear, there's like not a ton to say about it. I have some bonuses to like Thermite Mine and Blast Shield with some of these. A lot of this gear could use some work. Obviously, my resistances are not that good. Alright, so that about does it for kind of where I'm at with the character currently. Still has a lot of work to do, obviously. We were only in like the beginning stages of Elite. Um, I'll probably make an update near the end of Elite, because that's when I'll be, putting on augments and getting like reputation and stuff sorted and, get everything ready for Ultimate. But at the moment, like the character performs pretty well. One of my issues throughout this whole time, even after making the change to Firestrike earlier on, has been that like surprisingly like my single target feels kind of lacking. Um, the last character that I played was like a spin to win, like was like an Oath Keeper and a Demolitionist. I don't remember what the class combo was called. And that character kind of I just held right click and would just kill everything. So maybe my perception's a bit skewed for what like actually like decent but not wild damage actually looks like. But like this character's been super fun to play, and it has been pretty rewarding for me, like kind of starting a build from just an idea and turning it into something. And that's one of the things I enjoy about Grim Dawn compared to some other ARPGs that I've played is it has enough complexity where it's not, super boring and you're just basically on like a linear path making your character, but it's not, you know, so complex that you can't do anything on your own necessarily. Like obviously I have some third-party tools on here, um, and I use the wiki and Grim tools and stuff occasionally to help me with things. But I see this game's mechanics as like far more of a win to just do things independently than I would like Path of Exile. So as for any ideas for like future plans for this character, I'd like to maybe change up my devotion tree a bit because it feels like I have a lot of abilities on there that don't do a ton for like my damage or survivability either way. So I'd like to see if I can make some changes and maybe just make myself more survivable because I feel like I have my damage currently handled in other places. Um, I do have another mythical havoc that I can equip at like level 84 or something. I have one, so that'll be a decent upgrade, I think. Um, Once I get to that level, that probably won't be until ultimate though. I'll definitely be upgrading my relic as soon as I hit the level threshold to do that. I think I already have the materials, I just don't know if I have all the blueprints and stuff um, for the actual components for the relic, but we'll see, I guess. But yeah, otherwise, I don't think I'll be adding any new abilities, like active abilities on my bar here. I think I'm set kind of with what I've got going on right now. Oh, and I forgot to explain, in the Forgotten Gods expansion, you can get an augment from one of the three, well, from any of the three witch cults, but you can choose a witch cult at the beginning, and you can get an augment from them that is like a movement ability that you put on your medal. So I'll show it a second here. So I sided with the, or it's your, yeah, metal, sorry. I sided with Bismail, I don't know how to pronounce it, and I got the leap augment. So I put that on my metal as soon as I went there, and that's what my one ability is this leap ability. So I'll actually end the video with this. I think I want to do this little mini boss fight and kind of show off some of the single target for this build. And you guys can see the DPS there on the left anyway, if you'd like a number kind of associated with how much damage I'm doing. So let's do this. So I'll pop my thermite mine and try and get all the negative elemental resistances on there. It's not like a foolproof method to get them all applied. Like, again, I need to be pretty close to get the exclusive skill on there, so that's not always up. And the thermite mine has to proc the devotion resistance reduction, or at least one of them. So because I had to move around a decent bit, I think it was like at 41,000 DPS. I definitely would do more than that if I didn't have to move around so much. But I think I still killed that boss relatively quickly, so it's not terrible. Again, I think my perception's a little skewed because of the last character I played. All right, so that'll do it, I think, for the build diary for this character. Again, I'll probably make a follow-up once I'm ready to get into Ultimate, and I'm putting some new things on my gear. Kind of do hopefully a bit shorter video, just as an update to what I have going on now. And next character I make, I'll try and start from the beginning, but I just didn't even think about this until I got this far in. So yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video, and feel free to leave a comment and let me know if there's anything you'd like to see. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.